The 15th anniversary of the Kingston Canadian Film Festival will be February 26th to March 1st, and it's all downtown Kingston. And, we have 21 feature films. Latest count, we have about 75 short films. This year we have music as well. We have 15 workshops, and there's receptions, so there's a whole lot going on rolled up under the umbrella of the festival. There's a good mix of features this year. We have the bigger name draws, like there's a David Cronenberg film, Maps to the Stars, which has got John Cusack and Julianne Moore. We have Xavier Dolan's Mommy, which was Canada's submission to the Oscars. So we have the heavy hitters, but then we have a lot of local films this year too, which is not always the case for our feature films category. So we have a film by Brent Nurse, The Stronghold, and Leanne Bellamy's Fault, which are both premiering at the festival. And Bath filmmaker Dale Morrissey, Father of Hockey. And then, of course, we have our local shorts program, which I think we have about 25 local shorts this year as well. So Kingston's well represented in the festival for sure. There's a lot of theaters that'll overlook a lot of the really good Canadian films. Maybe they just don't have the marketing behind them. They don't always have the best distribution, or they're with a distributor that's maybe not getting their films into the bigger theaters. So I think at least from our audience's perspective, a lot of the films that they see at our festival end up being their year favorites. So there's really good films out there that need to be seen that just sometimes get overlooked, and I'm the same way. You know, some of there's a lot of Canadian films that I don't get to see just because I don't know about them. So it's good for festivals like ours and other smaller festivals that are showcasing Canadian film to make sure that their community gets to see these films.
Does Apple Inc. own directly or indirectly AOI, AOE, and ASI?
Yes.
And where is AOI a tax resident?
It does not have a tax residency.
We've had music in film workshops in the past, and we wanted to take that a step further and actually have some live performances at the festival this year. And our thinking behind that was we'll maybe get some new faces to the festival that will come for the music and see a film that they like, or see the connection that we're trying to create between music and film, and see something else at the festival that would interest them and explore other areas of the festival. So, for example, we have Greg Keeler of Blue Rodeo who's coming to the festival, who, you know, at first glance maybe don't think he has a huge connection to the film industry, but there is actually a new documentary on Blue Rodeo this year, which was our idea for getting the band to the festival. The band wasn't available, but Greg was, and we found out that he did a short film and photography for a trip that he did out to the East Coast. I guess he was in search of his birth mother, and he documented the whole trip, and it was a real personal story for him. And so when we contacted him about coming to the festival for a performance, he suggested that, and I guess he's only ever done a performance of this kind one other time, and he said that he thought it had a really great connection to film, and people, you know, wouldn't necessarily think of Greg Keeler as a filmmaker or photographer, but apparently it's a really interesting story.
The Jamaican bees are very laid back. Today they'll go out and tomorrow they don't. No problem whatsoever.
People might have the perception that the film festival is it's the same as just going to the movies and paying your ticket and you get your popcorn and you watch your film and you go home, but there's really so much more going on. Like, just for the films themselves, and close to 90% of our films will have a filmmaker in attendance who will do a Q&A after the film, let you know about his or her process and where they get their ideas. So it's really interesting, educational, to see where and who's making these films. And then once you get to the festival as well, you start discovering other things, like there's music, there's workshops, there's receptions, parties, in-conversation events. So lots of times people that do come to the festival just to see a movie and they get a program guide into their hands, they'll usually discover at least one or two other things that they're interested in that they may not have heard of otherwise.